I've already started work on my next video, but I want to make it clear to all my new subscribers. So I know that I said it was in progress, but what was the video about? Why I love fighting games. It's a script about things that keep me playing fighting games all the time to this day. Unfortunately, I realized that there's this amazing video by Core Gaming that came out a couple days before I wrote the script that went over most of the things that I said. I felt like actually making the video would be redundant, so I ended up scrapping it. But now, what do I talk about? I need something that's pretty obscure to discuss, so nobody's gonna cover it before I do. I know, puzzle fighting games. Hello everyone, I'm Yuberz. Today we'll be taking a look at puzzle fighting games. It's hard to define what a puzzle fighting game is, but the ones I'll be going over are generally accepted as puzzle fighting games. You can think of this as a mini top 8 of my favorite puzzle games of all time. Let's start with why I wanted to discuss puzzle fighting games in the first place. Puzzle fighting games to me are a really interesting specimen, since they're even more niche than regular fighting games. We'll get to you later. Puzzle fighting games often have the exact same curve of mastery that traditional fighting games have. If you have no idea what you're doing and go up against a professional, you'll probably be killed in an instant. Learning and improving at it feels super good, and mastery makes you feel like you're ascending to another plane of existence entirely. Puzzle fighting games also don't have some of the things that take a while to learn in fighting games, like neutral and blocking. The other thing I think is super cool about puzzle fighters are the gameplay styles. In most traditional fighters, you generally have 9 different movement directions, and buttons that punch, kick, or whatever. In puzzle fighting games, there's a ton of different control methods, from moving a reticle left and right, to sliding up and down with the stylus, moving the pieces themselves, and even straight up platforming controls. Doing quarter circles is cool, but sometimes my hand gets tired of it and I just want to go ham in Tetris. With that out of the way, let's check some out, why don't we? This is the game I also have the least amount of experience with, so that's why it's currently my least favorite puzzle fighting game. It has seen side tournament play, but don't get me wrong, it's a really interesting game to watch. With players having to work to set up big square shapes to pop big gems for damage, in addition to setting up chains, it's really interesting. It also has different, recognizable characters from Street Fighter and Darkstalkers, which is pretty neat. Overall, pretty cool game that I'd love to play with people someday. This game is a really popular game amongst people, and some could say that it's their favorite puzzle fighter. It has you swap blocks horizontally to match 3. What's interesting about this game is the garbage that is sent to the other player. It behaves very interestingly, where the board will pause, letting the player set up for further combo for more damage to make a comeback. Watching high-level Tetris Attack is a spectacle to behold for sure. I hope that we get a new Panel de Pong game sooner rather than later. A long time ago, I'd spend time playing Puzzle Bobble on my dad's BlackBerry phone or whatever. You basically move this catapult thingy left and right to aim colored balls to match the color to make them disappear. Any bubbles not attached to the top bubbles will fall. Somehow Spell Bubble puts a spin on this game, adding a rhythm element as well as counterattacks and spell cards to turn the tides. The sense of flow you get with this game, combined with the Puzzle Bobble formula, really gets the blood pumping, and I could not recommend this game enough. It's kind of expensive though, and the main problem is that it's a Switch exclusive. I recently, and by recently I mean 2 days ago since writing the script, beat this game. The puzzle mode is incredibly fun, with the story teaching you new techniques that you can utilize anywhere within the game. The versus mode is alright, with the players struggling to avoid the falling blocks. It's incredibly funny to push your friends off the edge, but depending on the situation, it's more of a platforming challenge than a puzzle challenge. Overall, it's a really interesting puzzle game, and I can't recommend the story mode enough. Luminous basically has a similar gameplay style to Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. It makes square shapes to dissolve cubes and create chains. So why is this game up here instead of nearer to that game? Presentation. This game is beautiful. Abstract visuals combined with music that flows with the gameplay, in addition to the fast-paced block-dropping action, contributes to how highly I think of this game. Spoilers, Tetris Effect was produced by the same guy as Luminous, and that game is also phenomenal. Alright, now we're getting to the big boys. Puyo is a game where you match 4 of these little blobs of the same color to pop them and create chains. I feel like chains in puzzle games are common, but as far as I'm aware, this is the originator of the idea. The chains in this game can get to be extremely long, with a high skill ceiling. There's also elements of harassing the other player to cut off their chains and having to read their board to determine if you have an advantage. It's a superb game, and I think it has the most depth and complexity in my opinion. All of this paired with a fun art style and banging soundtracks, it's a great game. So with all this praise, why don't I think it's my favorite? Well, we'll see in just a moment. The grandfather of all puzzle games. Everybody knows what Tetris is. It's easily the most popular puzzle fighting game out there. If Puyo was like doing the Olympics, then playing Tetris is like if someone let you use steroids to figure out the bounds of human capability. High-level Tetris is basically what watching puzzle games on steroids looks like. These guys are crazy, and I'm doing my best to become one of them. It's an incredibly fast-paced game where you have to stack blocks and send at the opponent relentlessly, struggling to send garbage to make them top out. It's an incredibly satisfying feeling to place these blocks down at lightning speed to outdo your opponent. It's also fun to impress casual viewers who have no idea what's going on, since they only know the basic premise of the game. Along with its many games includes the game produced by legendary Tetsuya Mizuguchi, who worked at Q Entertainment before creating his company, Enhance Inc. This is the same guy who made Luminous as well, and Tetris Effect Connected is one of my favorite ways to play it. So what's the last game, topping this historic game that everybody loves? Meteos, the culmination of everything I love about puzzle fighters. First off, it's developed by Q Entertainment, meaning that the soundtrack and gameplay effects are god tier. It was also designed by Masahiro Sakurai, a man as integral to video game history as the best of them. Since like 99% of people watching this video don't know what Meteos is, you move the blocks, called Meteos, vertically to create matches of 3. When 3 match up, they'll rocket off into the sky. Setting them off the top row is how you get rid of them permanently. The most interesting thing is that most planets have the remnants of a launch combo off into another launch, creating insane, easy to understand combos. I say most planets because there's a ton of different planets to pick from, with all of them being different. We've got instant gravity where you have to have a 2 combo to even launch blocks. We've got instant launches with the caveat of no combos. We've got a planet that has lower gravity when you press L and R to get more Meteos, and so many more. All of the planets have different sizes, gravities, and gimmicks that keep the game fresh. I cannot recommend the DS original enough. The use of a stylus is perfect for accurate, quick, and intuitive movement, and contributes to the high speed of the game. While there is a button option, it's much slower and way less satisfying. The only problem is, every version of Meteos is dead. All the sequels are harder to get, and the original doesn't include online. That's where a fan project called Meteoro Strikers comes in. It's a game that even works on phones with the same gameplay as Meteos, with a ton of new planets and gimmicks. It's not nearly as polished as official games, but it allows online play and has some good music. I'd recommend checking out the original of course, but this is a viable alternative to play with friends who are far away. Meteos is really a gem of a game, and I really hope that we'll see it reincarnated in the future once again. So that has been a look at the puzzle fighting games I know about. Did I miss one of your favorites? Let me know. Links to all my source footage and music are in the description, as well as a link to Meteoro Strikers, which you can try out right now. Thanks for listening. I'll see you all next time.